Archer and I grew up side by side, the kind of childhood friends who know every scar in secret. His girlfriend hated that fact. They fought about me constantly, breaking up and making up in the same breath. Her running, him chasing, an endless loop. At one party, she finally called me out in front of everyone. "Sam, how about I find you a boyfriend?" In the dead silence, I lifted my eyes to the man beside Archer, his best friend Chase. Then I smiled and shook my head. "No need. I already have one." The next second, Archer's face darkened, and he crushed the wine glass in his hand. Before we go on, subscribe to the channel and tell us in the comments where you're listening from. Archer and Blair are back together. When Skylar told me, I didn't feel a thing. She spammed me with gleeful updates. They were split for a full 3 months this time, record broken. Word is Blair flew off to Europe in a huff, and Archer chased her across the Atlantic to win her back. 2 years, 5 breakups, don't they ever get tired? I sent back a smiley and left it at that. He'll probably spam the Hawthorne group chat yelling about dinner again. "You going?" I replied with a polite decline sticker. "Pass. Practice. I've got a competition next month. Fine. I'm going to watch the drama unfold live. Fresh gossip incoming, sis. K-dog-nod.gif. I put the phone down and returned to my violin. Half an hour later, I picked it up again. Skylar had typed and retyped a single question. "Do you even know why they split this time?" "Nope. She answered instantly. "Blair found out Archer's lock screen passcode. Is your birthday. Dylan, our long quiet Hawthorne chat, suddenly exploded. Sure enough, Archer had announced the reunion dinner. Same place, same private dining club. Everyone piled on with jokes and emojis. Used to it, but congrats anyway. Suji slipping. Took you forever this round. How many reunion dinners are we supposed to sit through?" I was typing my excuse when Blair tagged me personally. "Blair, Riley, you have to come. Sorry, swamp. Blair, oh, just one meal. I kept reading you and Archer wrong. Must have driven you nuts. Let me apologize face to face, pretty please." The group chat flatlined. I stared at the screen, irritation prickling under my skin. Finally, I typed, "Okay. I walked into the private room late. The party was already loud. The chatter died for a beat. Archer sat at the head of the table. His frown loosened when he saw me. "What took you?" He patted the empty chair beside him. "Sit." Blair's smile strained, but she threaded her arm through his, flagging territory. "Riley, you're finally here. We've been waiting." "Traffic." Archer's gaze stayed on me the whole time. I ignored it and headed for Skylar, waving from the corner. I'd barely settled when Blair appeared, a fresh drink in hand. "Riley, I'm so glad you came. I kept mistaking you and Archer, through tantrums made scenes embarrassing, right? Must have been a headache for you." "Sorry. Let's bury it." She loomed over me, smile glittering and hollow. "But that's over. Archer swore up and down your bond is pure big brother little sister stuff. You used to stick to him like glue, just innocent hero worship, yeah?" The room went library quiet. Nobody even breathed. Archer still watched, waiting for my answer. Skylar rolled her eyes and opened her mouth. I touched her wrist, stood, and lifted my own glass to Blair's height. "Glad we cleared the air." Apology accepted. I smiled thin-bright. "You heard Archer. We're only neighbors. Don't doubt him again, feelings get bruised." I toasted her. "Wishing you two forever." Thud. Archer slammed his glass down, face like winter steel. "You can't handle alcohol, don't." Blair's expression iced over, knuckles whitening on her stem. Because the warning wasn't for her, it was for me. Archer and I met at 8, our houses sharing a hedge. Elementary school. I picked up the violin, he clamped hands over ears. "Sam, are you sawing lumber?" Middle school. He tutored me, tapping my skull with a pen. "Sam, pay attention when I'm talking." Ellis, I tripped in P.E. He sprinted piggyback to the nurse near tears. "Sam, does it hurt?" Even later, the night my parents died in a wreck, he held my hand and repeated, "Sam, don't be scared. I'll always be here." Everyone called us the textbook perfect pair. We'd marked every milestone together. I believed him when he promised forever. Then a new girl joined the conservatory program, and Archer started humming a different name. "Sam, don't you think Blair kind of resembles you?" "How?" "She scratches the violin just like you used to." "Sam, Blair's hilarious. Go get her number for me." And finally, Sam, Blair and I are official. The private room felt airless. Apart from Skylar, the others were Archer's circle. I barely knew them. My days were classes and practice. Blair, though, had become one of the gang since dating Archer, tighter with them than I ever was. Archer's single protective sentence flipped the mood. Side glances traded, some openly scornful, as though I were the cliché homewrecker from a soap opera. I pinned Skylar's wrist before she could flip the table, tossed the drink back in one burn, and smiled like frost. It's just a sip, no big deal. Archer's face chilled further. He strode over and snatched the glass, bumping Blair aside. Sam, feeling brave? You break out in hives and you still downed it. Irritation spiked. None of your business. He opened his mouth again just as the door swung wide. A tall figure in a black trench blocked the corridor light, surveying the room with cool ink-dark eyes. The stare settled on me for 2 beats, then slid away. Tension cracked like thin ice. Chase! Archer blinked. Thought you were bailing tonight. Chase crossed to the empty seat opposite mine. Free after all. Picking someone up. Pick up? Don't see anyone, another guy muttered, glancing into the hallway. Chase's mouth tilted, gaze brushing me. No rush. I sank lower in my chair. Great, now we're all here, Blair chirped, frantic brightness. She tugged Archer back to his seat and lifted her glass again. We finally got everyone together. Let's toast. Oh, almost forgot, Riley can't drink. She offered a small, apologetic smile, then widened her eyes as if something had just struck her. Sam, how about? I find you a boyfriend? Once you have one, he can drink in your place. That way my Archer won't have to keep worrying about you. Her gaze locked on me, bright with undisguised irritation. Everyone caught the barb. In the sudden hush I glanced past Archer to the man lounging in the chair beside him. Chase. No need. I smiled and declined. I already have a boyfriend. The moment the words left my mouth, a sharp crack rang out. Archer's face darkened, veins bulging on the back of his hand as he crushed the wine glass. Jagged shards sliced into his skin and blood blossomed across his palm. Sam. Archer's voice was almost a growl. What did you just say? Blair shrieked and waved frantically for the server to bring the first aid kit. Archer seemed oblivious to the pain. His eyes stayed fixed on me. Say it again. Word for word, I repeated. I already have a boyfriend. Impossible, someone scoffed. Come on, everyone knows you've been pining after Archer for years. Sam, Blair meant well. You don't have to invent a fake boyfriend just to reject her. Or are you saying it to make Archer jealous? Faces around the table lit with sudden understanding. The storm on Archer's eased a fraction. He exhaled in soft reproach. Riley, don't say things in anger. I rolled my eyes so hard it hurt. Believe what you want, but this glass finishes every misunderstanding between us. From now on, I don't want to hear any more rumors about you two breaking up because of me. If we're still friends, don't drag me into your love games ever again. I grabbed my bag and headed for the door. On the threshold, I paused and looked back. Chase, could you give me a ride? Gasps rippled through the private dining room. Eyes bulged in disbelief. Archer twisted around. Sam, who did you just call? The man beside him rose slowly, a lazy smile hooking his mouth. Not a problem. Archer started after me, but Blair caught his arm. His fists clenched, driving the glass deeper. His voice shook. Sam, don't you dare walk out. I didn't look back. I stepped into the corridor and left the club. The car felt warm. I sat hunched in the passenger seat, not sure what to say. My phone buzzed nonstop, Archer calling. I muted it, fed up with the noise. Chase leaned over, long arms stretching to pull the seatbelt across me. He didn't move away after clicking it home. He was close enough for the faint cedar of his cologne to brush my nose. I felt his gaze drift to my throat, then to my arms as though inspecting for damage. After a moment his low, cool voice broke the quiet. You feeling okay? I realized what he meant and shook my head. No problem, barely 2 sips of red, nowhere near a rash. He nodded, shifted back, and started the engine. Cool night air poured through the cracks in the window and washed the heat from my cheeks. The first time I heard the name Chase, I pictured someone flashy and wild. The few times we'd actually crossed paths proved the opposite. He spoke little, radiated frost, and kept the world at arm's length. At parties he either skipped them entirely or showed just long enough to leave. Archer said he was gifted, born with a silver shovel for digging up prizes, winner of every contest he entered, home or abroad. I never figured out how someone so untouchable had ended up in Archer's circle. From Ellis to college, Chase and I barely existed in the same orbit, until last month. The Violin Society scheduled a dinner. I chugged an entire bottle of hard cider, mistaking it for juice. When the others saw the scarlet welts blooming across my skin, they panicked and tried to haul me to the ER. We bumped into Chase outside the restaurant. He scooped me into his car and floored it. Really, the rash only looked terrifying. It wasn't fatal. What nearly killed me was the drunken frenzy in the passenger seat. I wrapped my arms around his neck and bit him 3 hard times. Then I smacked my lips and announced he tasted delicious. The next morning I remembered every cringeworthy second. I nearly dropped to my knees apologizing and swore I'd make it up to him. Chase's eyes held a faint smile. The red crescents of my teeth still marked his throat. How are you going to compensate? My brain blue-screened. Did that mean I had to take responsibility, or let him bite me back? Can I think about it? Sure. Ever since, I kept bumping into him, library, stadium, cafeteria, even glimpsing him past the rehearsal studio window while I practiced. I suspected it wasn't coincidence. The 10th time he asked to share my lunch table, I finally blurted, "Chase, are you that impatient?" I haven't decided yet." He simply hummed, plucked the braised short ribs from his plate, and placed them on mine. Then, softly, "Not rushing you." My mind snapped back to the present, the car already idled outside my building. Chase followed me upstairs and stopped at my door. I wrestled with myself, keys cold in my palm as I fumbled with the lock. "Sleep early. If you feel the least bit sick, call me." "Okay." He studied me a moment longer. "Close the door." I clutched the handle, tilted my head, resolve crystallizing. "Chase. I lied about having a boyfriend. I know. But it doesn't have to stay a lie." He blinked, then laughed, the sharp lines of his face melting into something gentle. Playing dumb, he asked, "How so?" "I'll take responsibility. Will you be my boyfriend?" My palms were sweating. Before he could answer, I rushed on. "Don't reply yet, think it over." "I can wait. Goodbye, good night." I slammed the door with a bang. My heart hammered against my ribs. Leaning back in the dark, I exhaled until my lungs burned. The phone in my pocket lit up, Chase calling. Wasn't he still out in the hallway? Baffled, I answered. His voice sounded husky, tightly leashed. "Open the door. I want to kiss you. Right now." I could barely breathe. The instant I turned the knob, Chase strode in and kicked the door shut behind him. Blackness swallowed the room as his arms circled my waist, and his tall frame pressed me back. Then his mouth came down, hard and claiming. My thoughts scattered. I couldn't track how we'd rocketed here. He kissed like a dam breaking after years of drought, fierce, overwhelming, impossible to resist. I braced my hands against his shoulders. The air thinned until I was lightheaded. Chase. I really couldn't breathe. He cupped the back of my head and nipped my lower lip, sharp, deliberate. I yelped. Only then did he pause, though his arms stayed locked around my waist, pinning me to him. By the sound of it, his breathing was just as ragged. In the hush, our foreheads touched while we gulped the same heated air. When the pounding in my ears finally eased, I felt his gaze roaming my face. He lifted a hand, thumb brushing the spot he'd bitten, stroking gently again and again. "Does it hurt?" It did a little, but I still shook my head. It's okay." The atmosphere turned delicate. "Chase, aren't we moving a little fast?" He was quiet for a moment, then gave a soft "A bit." Then, according to my script, he should instantly read my mind, let go of me, say goodnight, go home and rethink everything, then follow normal dating protocol step by step from now on. Instead, Chase only tightened his arms and asked in a low voice, "Rested?" "Huh." He leaned in. The cool cedar scent of him slid into my nose, his voice still husky with unfinished desire. "I'm going to continue." With that, his mouth found mine again. At least he had manners. He'd announced it first. This time he kissed me gently. Light brushes landed on my cheeks, the corners of my lips, again and again. Gone was the aggression from before. All that remained was careful, lingering tenderness. One arm circled my waist, the other cradled my face, and the tender pecks slowly deepened into a twining of lips and tongue. My heart lurched. I instinctively shut my eyes, limbs turning liquid. I gripped his shoulders and let the unfamiliar tide rise until it swallowed my senses. The phone screen lit again. Archer's calls and texts never stopped. Chase caught my tongue, nipped lightly, then swept me into his arms and carried me through the moonlight to the living room couch. During that endless kiss, I realized that, in some respects, the guy truly lived up to his name, burning a little too bright. As if he never tired. Fortunately, I didn't mind. Chase's tall frame sank into the sofa. His hand steadied my lower back as he settled me straddling his lap. My lips were already tingling, and the belt at his waist dug painfully into my thighs. I braced both hands on his shoulders and, during a quick breath, pushed us apart. "Chase, enough." He froze, finally realizing he'd gone too far. "Sorry," he rasped. I lost control. When I didn't answer, he seemed flustered, his arms locked around me. In the dark, I couldn't see his face, but his voice carried a tremor of insecurity and plea. "Don't hate me." I was startled. I'd never imagined that someone as favored by the heavens as Chase could sound so humble. "I don't hate you." My cheeks burned. I'm just a little tired. Chase gave a faint laugh. He rested his forehead against my neck. Each word brushed my collarbone. What are you doing tomorrow? I thought. Practice in the morning, paper in the afternoon. Then, can I see you? Okay. Eat together? Lunch. All 3 meals. I smiled. Deal. Next morning, the moment I reached the rehearsal studio door, I found Archer sitting outside, still in yesterday's clothes, face haggard, eyes shadowed. Looked like he hadn't slept at all. He shot to his feet when he saw me. Sam, I called you all night. Why didn't you pick up? I sidestepped the hand he reached for. Sorry, I didn't check my phone last night. Bloodshot eyes stared as if they might crack. Didn't check? Then what were you doing? Why did you let Chase drive you home last night? Since when are you two so close? And when did you move? I went to your place. The neighbor said you'd already left. His barrage irritated me. How is any of that your business? Not my business? Archer sneered. Sam, you're doing all this just to spite me, aren't you? I was baffled. Are you high? Sam, who knows you better than I do after all these years? He sounded sure of victory. I know Blair humiliated you yesterday, and you were furious. I'm apologizing for her. From now on she won't appear in front of you. Weariness crossed his face, he sighed. But you have to promise to stay away from Chase. And stop ignoring my calls, quit using other guys to make me jealous. Turns out people really do laugh when speechless. Archer, what exactly do you take me for? The neighbor? A friend? The little tail who used to follow you around? I stared coldly. Who gave you the right to run my life? Sam, we grew up together. I've been managing your affairs for years. Right, we grew up together, but that's all, isn't it? For a second Archer looked stunned. I stepped back, widening the distance. Admit it, Archer, we've both changed. You made your choices and I'm building my life. From now on, don't waver and don't meddle in my future. Archer's fists clenched. The gauze wrapped over his glass-cut palm was seeping blood. No. His gaze turned obstinate. Nothing's changed. I sighed, done with the argument. I moved because the lease ended. My new address is none of your concern. As for Chase, I paused. I have no reason to avoid him. Because he's my boyfriend. Archer's body jolted. What did you say? What? Two voices overlapped as Skylar popped up, slinging an arm around my shoulder. Way to go, Sam. You hid a whole romance from me. I grinned sheepishly and tugged her toward the studio. I'll explain inside. Suddenly Archer seized my wrist, so hard I felt bones grind. Ow, Avery! He didn't seem to hear. His eyes were blood red, shock wrestling with fury. Sam, are you serious? Before I could answer, Skylar slapped his hand away. She pulled me aside and snapped at him. That's enough, Prince Hawthorne. You've got a girlfriend. Why keep chasing Riley? You walked off without a word last night, vanished till dawn. Your girl cried at the table for hours and none of us could comfort her. Go apologize before Blair dumps you again. With an eye roll, she dragged me into the studio. I told Skylar everything from start to finish. When I finished, she exhaled in relief. Good. I was worried. You've been single so long I thought you still held a torch for that jerk Archer. I shook my head, smiling easily. I got over him ages ago. Skylar added. No wonder you shocked everyone by letting Chase drive you home last night. Was it that dramatic? I blinked. We're all friends, giving a ride is normal, right? Anyone else maybe, but that's Chase. Our crowd's loaded, sure, but next to him we're spare change. In a novel we'd have to call him the Crown Prince of Silicon Valley capital. Skylar clicked her tongue. I used to wonder why someone that untouchable would mingle with us. Now I think I know, her gaze slid to me. I tugged the corner of my mouth. Your imagination's sprinting. Skylar looked skeptical. Don't believe me? Listen to my evidence. Every party we throw, Chase never shows, but if you come, he's there without fail. A guy who skipped his own graduation never misses a single one of your concerts. Even best friends rarely manage that. Skylar's eyes went wide, goosebumps crawling up her arms. You never notice until you start thinking, and then it hits you like a truck. Normally we can't even get a glimpse of him, but you bump into him every other day. And those anonymous birthday presents. 2 years ago it was a 7-figure jewelry set, last year a custom violin with your name engraved on the scroll. You still have them sitting at home because you never figured out who sent them. Looking back, who else could throw around that kind of money except Chase? Skylar clapped her hands. Face it, Chase has probably been pining after you for years. I stared at her, too stunned to speak. Could it be just coincidence? There aren't that many coincidences in the world. My mind flashed to last night, Chase's kiss, hungry and unrestrained, and something inside me wobbled. But he doesn't seem like the secret pining type. True, Skylar agreed, then added. His vibe is more like the guy who'd lock you up and love you senseless 24/7. Go easy on the steamy fanfic, okay? Ever since Skylar planted the idea, I catch myself tracking every move Chase makes. He seems to know everything about me. Sunflowers, hatred of scallions and garlic, my peanut allergy, tiny preferences I've never advertised. He rattles them off without hesitation. In public, he's the perfect gentleman, but the moment we're alone, he traps my hand in his or leans in to brush my cheek with his lips as I'm talking. Like a puppy begging to be petted, equal parts needy and anxious, a split personality from the cool aristocrat everyone else sees. Every time I finish practicing, I turn around and he's there. He's holding a blazing bunch of sunflowers, leaning against the half-lit doorway of the rehearsal studio. A breeze lifts his hair, and his eyes churn with emotion I can't read. Something frantic pressed flat, something possessive reined in. He smiles that quiet smile as if to say, I've been waiting for you, waiting so very long. Skylar says Archer has been living at the bar lately. When he's drunk, he speed dials me over and over. On the other end, he's always swimming in memories, rattling off fragments of our past. The garden on the walk home from Ellis smothered in climbing roses. The stray cat we fed canned tuna with our allowance. The afternoon my violin teacher reduced me to tears, and he avenged me by slipping chili seeds into her thermos. I listen until my eyelids droop. Chase pulls me onto his lap, strokes my back, and takes the phone. She's asleep. I'll keep you company. Archer hangs up. Seconds later the texts start. Why are you with Chase? You don't even know him. Break up with him. Finally I block every number he owns. A few quiet days pass, then Mrs. Mother calls. Mrs. Mother is Archer's mom. After my parents died in the crash, she folded me into the family like a daughter. She says Archer's been moody and asks if he and his girlfriend are fighting. I mumble, probably. She sighs, chats about small things, then invites me to dinner at the house this weekend. I hesitate, then say yes. When I arrive, Archer is already there. He's wearing the white Ellis graduation shirt I gave him, creased and hanging loose on thinner shoulders. The moment the door opens, his eyes spark, equal parts hope and ache. You're home. I nod and slip past him. Mrs. Mother circles me, clucking that I've lost weight and that she had the chef braise my favorite short ribs. The kitchen smells of soy and caramelized sugar. A soap opera laughs on the huge flat screen. Archer lounges on the sectional, watching us chat with the soft grin of some long-ago Friday twilight. After dinner, Mrs. Mother retreats to her study. Archer blocks my path, voice almost pleading. Sam, can we talk? When did you and Chase get together? The night of the group dinner. For a heartbeat, Archer's face lights up. I rush to stamp it out. Don't twist it. I'm not using him to hurt you. The light dies, his expression collapses. So, you actually like him? I picture Chase at the door this morning, arms locked around my waist, nose nuzzling my neck, and smile before I can stop myself. Yeah. Archer looks away, gives a cracked laugh. Do you even know him? Archer. My voice is level. I thought I knew you, and that didn't get us anywhere, did it? Jamie, his jaw locks, he turns his face aside. Believe what you want, but Chase already has someone. I've seen his lock screen. It's a photo of a girl's back. He's used the same picture for years. I give a small nod. Okay. He whips around. Sam, are you seriously that careless now? That's between Chase and me. It has nothing to do with you. I pause. Archer, let me say this one last time. The past is done. Live your life and stop barging into mine. Then maybe we can still be friends. Friends. His eyes are blood-red rims. Sam, who the hell wants to be your friend? I shrug, understanding. Fine. Strangers it is. The wind slams against the windows. Archer's face drains to white. I finish calmly. From this second on, we have nothing to do with each other. Thunder rolls in the distance. Rain slashes from the sky. It's raining. I speak softly. Archer, I'm going home. I say goodbye to Mrs. Mother and open the front door. Then freeze. Chase leans against the stucco wall, warm porch light stretching his shadow down the driveway. He looks up. The storm in his eyes smooths the instant he sees me. What are you doing here? I run over, cup his hand, cold from the night air. His gaze lingers on my intertwined fingers, a small smile tugging at his mouth. It's raining. He grips tighter. I came to take you home. His Aston is parked at the curb. He opens an umbrella, tucks me against his chest, not a drop touching me. As he opens the car door, Archer rushes out into the storm. Sam, don't go. Rain soaks his hair, plastering the white shirt to his frame, wrecked and desperate. He bends forward, voice raw. I messed up. His eyes never leave mine. Sam, I'm sorry. Can you not leave? He steps closer, pulls a crumpled envelope from his pocket. A love letter. The one you wrote me. You did love me, didn't you? He holds it out like a lifeline, hope trembling in his fingers. We promised we'd stay with each other forever. Don't you remember? I wrote that letter the fall of senior year at Ellis, planning to hand it to him after finals. But when exams ended, he told me he was with Blair. I slid the envelope, with every dizzy, daydreaming feeling, into the bottom drawer and forgot it existed. I never thought he'd dig it up. The paper is yellow, now dissolving in the downpour. I reach out and take it. Chase's arm around my waist turns to steel. His gaze freezes on Archer. I lean into Chase, soothing the coiled tension under his suit. So, Archer, what exactly do you regret? You knew I loved you, and you still picked someone else. You broke the promise first. Archer hangs his head, rain streams off his lashes. I'm sorry. His voice shakes. Sam, I was just scared. His family was a battlefield. Mother the ruthless dealmaker, father the ethereal painter. They burned bright, then burned out, until romance curdled into contempt. She called him a penniless dreamer. He called her a soulless shark. After too many to count screaming matches, Archer's father left the country in a rage and never came back. So Archer was terrified. Terrified that the sweetest teenage feelings would still end up as ash in life's inferno. He told himself they could just be friends. At least, as a friend, Sam would never walk away from him. But only tonight did he understand how catastrophically wrong he'd been. I'm sorry. Archer's voice cracked. Sam, forgive me, please? I gave the love letter in my hand a small tug. It ripped in half. I smiled, tossed the pieces into the trash can beside me. No one waits forever. Archer, I don't like you anymore. When I finished, I took Chase's hand, turned, and got into the car. Archer stared blankly, his strength gone, sinking to his knees in the downpour, completely shattered. For many years after, he would remain trapped in that rain-soaked night, drowning in regret. On the ride home, Chase didn't speak. I couldn't help feeling a little guilty. The moment we walked in, I was weighing my words. I'd barely said his name when Chase suddenly turned and pulled me into his arms. His arms locked around my waist, tighter and tighter, as though afraid I might bolt. Then he slowly lowered his head, burrowed his face into the curve of my neck. His hot breath tickled my ear. I patted the back of his head. Chase, are you mad? He started nibbling my neck, light little bites. Not mad. His voice was muffled. Then you're scared. Chase stilled, lifted his head, and met my gaze. I saw the darkness and restraint in his eyes, Emery, and he leaned in and kissed me, giving me no chance to refuse. It was a fierce kiss, urgent and insecure. At last he let me go, panting, our foreheads touching, and whispered, Yeah, I'm scared. I was breathless from the kiss. Afraid I'll soften and go back. Chase said nothing. That was answer enough. I smiled. That little faith in me. He shook his head, sounding almost wronged. It's me I don't trust. Look at those downcast eyes like a wounded puppy. My heart melted. I cupped his face and smacked 2 loud kisses on it. How about now? Chase's brows lifted, his whole face brightening, an odd light in his eyes. Are you coaxing me? I'm coaxing the puppy. His mouth curved. The puppy thinks it's not enough. What will be enough? His gaze turned predatory. He pulled me closer, desire thickening in his eyes. Say you like me. Chase dipped his head, brushing tender kisses against my lips. Baby, say it, say you like me. I tipped my head, stared straight into his eyes, and pronounced, Chase, I like you. The last syllable was swallowed by his burning kiss. We tangled our way from the doorway to the sofa. In the middle of that mind-melting kiss, a thought struck me. I pushed Chase away and held out my hand. Phone. He fished it out and slapped it into my palm without question, though his dark eyes stayed on my swollen lips, clearly unsatisfied. Passcode's your birthday. He stole another kiss as he spoke. I unlocked the screen and saw myself, more precisely a photo of me sophomore year. The day I won my very first violin competition gold. It was only a small inter-school event, but that trophy meant the world to me. Judging by the angle, it was a sneak shot of my back. I stood on the winner's platform, one arm cradling flowers, the other hugging the trophy. Overhead lights poured down, and in the frame I seemed to glow. I stared until my eyes stung. Chase, I asked, do you know why I love sunflowers? Chase stroked my cheek with his thumb. Because the piece you played the day you won that gold was sunflowers. Chase, have you liked me for a long time? A long, long time. I pressed, since when? Probably from the moment I heard someone massacre a violin in the old equipment shed behind the school. The old equipment shed? It hit me like lightning. I wasn't exactly gifted. In junior high my playing was still ear-splitting. Archer griped in front of me every day, begging me to spare his ears. Young and prickly, I threw the violin down in a huff and swore I'd never touch it again. Then in the middle of the night I sneaked out, retrieved it, and hunted for a deserted corner to practice. That corner turned out to be the shed behind the gym, so it hadn't been my secret hideout alone. My lower lip jutted. Tears spilled in an instant. Chase panicked, wiping them away clumsily. "What's wrong?" I sobbed. "You saw me at my most mortifying." "Where was it mortifying?" He kissed my face over and over. "You, crying while sawing away because you couldn't nail a single note, adorable." I blubbered. I was hellbent on practicing in secret so I could amaze everyone. "Well," he said gently, "you amazed me completely, baby." My cheeks burned. I changed the subject. "You became Archer's friend for me?" Wanted to be nearer to you. All those anonymous birthday gifts, those were from you too?" Chase nodded. "Why didn't you tell me? If I did, you might have sent them back." My heart turned to mush. I sighed long and soft. Chase, what would you have done if you'd missed me?" He laughed softly and hugged me tight. "Good thing I didn't." So good. Skylar texted fresh gossip. She said Archer and Blair had split again. This time for real, Archer dumped her. Blair begged, Archer blocked and deleted her. Ruthless, he'd just chased her overseas, all lovey-dovey. A moment later she asked, "Did Archer come crawling to you again? He regrets it, huh? Serves him right." Over the next week Blair showed up several times, asking where Archer was. I told her I didn't know. She looked haggard. Before leaving she gave me a mocking smile. "Archer dumped me. He said he only went after me because I reminded him of you. Sam, congrats on beating me." "Happy." I rolled my eyes. "I only care about winning violin comps. You're not even on my scoreboard." I complained to Chase. He just smiled and said, "Relax, she won't appear in front of you again." Within days of that promise, Blair took a leave of absence. Later Mrs. Mother said Archer was leaving the country and asked if I'd see him. I declined. That night I got a text from an unknown number, 4 words only. "I'll wait for you." I was curled against Chase watching a horror flick when it arrived. He picked up the phone, glanced at it, and replied, "Sure. We'll send you a wedding invite." All jealous sweetness. The day Archer flew out, I was at the National Violin Finals. When the rankings were announced, the spotlight found me, and the whole hall erupted. In the shifting crowd, I spotted a lone figure walking toward the exit. It looked like Archer, but I had no time to look back. Because right now, I needed to run into the arms of the man I love. Thanks for listening to today's story. If you enjoyed it, please like and share with friends. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe for more tales. See you next time.